Okay, now this is Mabyn's week three's lawn sequence. Okay, I think you made the right call here by not trying to layer the post on that tunnel send off the bat. And part of it is because it looks like she does take the jump and actually turns into you a teeny bit. And I know right now you're saying, because right now, see, I'm going, it looks like as you're going by the post, even without layering it, she's coming into you a little bit. I think maybe that tunnel entrance is lost a little bit with all that junk in that corner in the wall because it seems like now she's turning more away from the camera. But I could be mistaken. It could just be the camera angle and losing her little butt and all of the stuff in the background. But either way, I think it's a nice job, really good. Normally, our tunnel sends are really good, and you definitely give the cues early enough. So so that landing side front cross, very nicely done, and a good job getting out of her way and completing the cross for her. So I've watched through the sequence already now, and I can just tell you, I think you do a really nice job on this whole thing. So right there, you do good job with your arm. You could maybe be slightly more pronounced with your toe, but a nice lateral send there. I think you could have probably done it from even a little further away. So I don't think you had to be as close to that green jump, which would have given you more time for the front cross. But you are able to complete it anyway. See, it's just not ideal there if you look at her path. I think if you had given a little bit more distance and stronger lateral send to that jump, you would have been downstream. I think you do as good as you could have done on this front cross with what you had to work with from the yellow jump to where you're at now. So in order to tighten up this front cross where you're at right now, the front cross you're just finishing, in order to tighten up that line a little bit, you need to send a little bit more on the previous jump. But you're still really close here, really good. And this is a beautiful job of layering the post. Very nice. So something to work towards in the future. I'll talk about that now and this time when you're done with it. Now with out the lead out. Good. See, that time I don't see any hesitation. See, that the first time it looked like she turned towards you just a teeny bit. That time it looked like she knew where she was going. And my guess is just because that tunnel entrance is a little bit hidden with all that stuff in the corner. Not hidden, but not as obvious. Okay, so I know that you want a rear cross here. So this time, you're fine by hugging that green. You could have even maybe hugged the green a little bit more, and then you would have had to pivot stronger to get a better turn there. I think this is good. I think this is a good rear cross. You could have, again, used a little bit more shoulder, the whole top of your half of your body rather than just the arm. But still do a nice job. So one thing that you can do for future practice on the weaves, like you did here, layering the pole, I think that's great. But something that you also would be a really good thing to do with proofing the weave poles is if you did intentionally run kind of along the side of her, like near the pole, but really run way past her as fast as you can, running past her. That would just be a good thing to work on in a situation like this. The reason is because you may be at a trial or in a situation where imagine if instead of that pole it was like a tunnel or another jump or something else that was kind of in your way, or even if it is the pole and you're at a trial where you're not sure, she's been a little bit more Velcro that weekend, and you're not sure you want to layer it, and you might have to run a lot closer to the weaves than you would otherwise like to. So I just think it's a good idea to practice mixing it up the distance that we are from the weaves and not always being further away also. Normally we think of just layering and building more and more distance, and I would say that that's largely true, but I still believe that it's good to practice being closer as well. And with that also either going right with them close, because some dogs don't like that. Some dogs hate that if you're in their space. So just building up a little bit of tolerance for that could be good. And then also being able to run right by her, really, really blast by her at the end. So, and closer to her and blasting by her, some dogs really struggle with that. They'll want to pop out of the weaves and run with you. So, it's just something good for you to work on to practice. You do an awesome job this week, though. Mabyn just knocked it out of the park.